Hello, hello. My name is Brittany.
And I'm Kate.
And we are
The Fools.
Join us as we explore everything spiritual, astrological, and overall mystical.
Don't forget to follow your intuition, but more importantly, follow us at The Fools.
Welcome back to the Fools Podcast, baby.
Yeah, we're here again, back at it. Been a minute since we sat down with each other.
I know. I like anytime that I batch film content, right? Because then you feel just like ahead of the game and whatnot. But then when you come back to film again, it's like, whoa, it's been 300 years.
It's been 2 weeks. Yeah, but we are here. It's post V-Day.
Post Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. I hope you had a fun one.
Yeah, or Singles Awareness Day.
Or Galentine's Day.
Yeah.
That's the new thing.
You know what? Honestly, fuck it. It's a man-made holiday just created for consumerism.
Yeah, it's a capitalist holiday.
But you know what? Give yourself love. Buy yourself the chocolates. I did. Me and my mom ate chocolates together.
I love that.
Yeah.
Max bought me some flowers. It was nice. It's just a nice reminder to show people you love them. I think at the baseline of it all, don't hold too many expectations.
Yeah, and don't get too down on yourself if you don't have a Valentine. Be your own Valentine.
Yeah. Self-love, baby.
Yeah. And that's a good little segue into our
episode. Yeah, today we are talking about, I guess the focus is on soulmates versus twin flames, but then it kind of just like goes into all like soul connections.
Yeah, there's like a lot of subcategories of just like kindred spirits, soul families,
karmic soulmates, karmic relationships.
And yeah, so I was very interested.
What is the one that's like when you feel like you've lived a life with somebody, but you're like two ships in the night? Like, I forget. There's a name for that too. I didn't think I wrote it down, but it's just interesting.
Yeah, I've heard of that one, actually.
Yeah, where it's like you didn't meet in this lifetime, but you have in previous lifetimes. So it's like you meet someone and it's like this weird feeling of like,
I've loved you.
I know you, but
I also
you before. Got to go this way.
But I'm married now with 3 kids in this life.
So I guess we can't bang as much as we want to.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's fascinating for me because I was asking myself this question of like, do I believe in soulmates?
Yeah, that's the base of it all. It's funny, there was some stuff I really resonated with when I was doing some research and some other stuff I didn't, which I feel like is normal for anything that we talk about. But one thing I have said all the time throughout my life is I hated when people would say, they complete me. Like, you complete me. You're my other half. I always just, like, that gave me the ick, you know, because I don't think that any relationship you have should be so dependent on one another that you feel they make you up as a whole.
Yeah, or like you're not you without them.
Yes, like you need to be so keenly aware of yourself and who you are and be so happy with who that is and being alone with yourself before you can have any sort of relationship with anyone, but let alone a romantic partner.
Yeah, they always bring up your issues. So, like, if you're not aware, if you're not working on them, that can be catastrophic.
And, like, relationships, as amazing as they are, they can also be extremely painful. So you want to know, at the end of the day, like, you are the only person who has yourself's back. That sounds sad, but it's really actually empowering. Because then it reminds you that to keep that relationship with yourself above all else.
And one thing I wanted to also, like, quickly touch on, because we're talking about twin flames, soulmate connections, is that it should never be an excuse to explain away like emotional abuse or verbal abuse or like staying in like domestic violence situations or something, like because you believe in that soulmate connection and like you are valid to love that person and feel that way to that person. But I don't know, I want to leave some like links in the description or something because you know, domestic violence is real. And if you're experiencing it, click a link, call someone. I know it's like the most difficult thing is to even create that. But also don't let toxic people tell you that they're the only ones who will ever love you. Yes. They're your soulmate. No, they worship you. We're twin flames. We're meant to be.
That is some like baiting that people will definitely do to try to like keep you in their life. And yeah, nothing should ever, you can learn lessons from somebody without feeling like you have to punish yourself by like staying in these relationships that feel terrible. The lesson is to get away from them, if anything.
And grow and learn that lesson. And, you know, I just wanted to quickly touch on it. I don't want it to be like so heavy of an episode, but I do know it happens and people use it as a tactic all the time, or like explain away, you know, bad behaviors because they love someone, and
that's not okay.
I get it. It's very difficult.
It's hard. It's funny you say that, because I also wanted to start off by saying, like, anything we say, it's not that, you know, twin flames or soulmates or karmic relationships, don't think of it as like positives and negatives. Like this, if I am in this sort of thing, it's like, you know, 100% negative. Like I got to get out of it if you're in a happy place with them. You know what I mean? So don't take all of these so literally.
There's so much nuance in relationships in general. And like one thing that's also cool to point out is like some of your soulmates can be your friends.
Yes.
And like people you know, or like mentors, or people who were like, you know, very important to you along the way.
Yeah, I wrote down like not all soulmates are relationships. Like your friends, your therapist that really like talks to you on a level, that could have been like your brother in a different life. You don't know, like, but if you feel a connection, there's a reason that you were drawn to them in this lifetime, especially if you feel a deeper connection. Basically, these soul connections are connecting on a different plane than the earthly one, right? You feel deep down in your soul that you are, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a different word besides connected, but like together or understand each other beyond the physical realm.
I will suggest a book right here. It's called The Journey of Souls by Michael Newton. It was really interesting. He's a PhD, and he just takes like 29 different cases into like their superconscious, which is like past death. So like into like a more spiritual realm of things. And you learn about like souls as like essentially just like super conscious light bodies who like telepathically communicate, and you get, you know, put back together with your different soul families and like people who are on similar levels as you. So I think that's also a really cool place to start if you're just learning about like souls and soul traveling.
Yeah,
and
instead
like,
of thinking about like finding the one, think about just soul connections and soul contracts as a whole. Because basically when you're in that like light realm area, you've made, I mean, we call them contracts, but we've made decisions before coming into this world of like what challenges we want to go to, and we made those decisions with another light being to just learn and grow our souls. Right.
And I think one thing that I think was very cool about this book that I learned is when you're in this afterlife, like you are way less judgmental. You're like way less emotionally attached to like the things that have happened. And they can like, these weird little souls who talk through, I don't know, hypnotism, are saying, you know, like, oh yeah, that person can be an asshole sometimes, but like they're learning or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's, you know,
it's such a different,
so true.
Yeah, it's so different to think of ourselves as not ourselves.
Yeah.
Like our souls are in us, but it's not like who you are now is innately who you'll be in another life.
Brittany is a piece of a greater Brittany.
Yes, exactly. Which is a concept to wrap your mind around, but just know when we're talking about these soul connections, it is much bigger than your physical
Yeah, it's like, can happen over lifetimes. It can happen over universes. You don't know what you experience. Like, I think my dog is my soulmate.
Yeah, I think that I have lived lives with Jax before, for sure. Like, there are different levels to this.
There's levels, baby.
There's levels, baby.
Okay, so moving along.
Yes. So, the definition I kept seeing over and over again was that soulmates are two souls that are destined to be together or work really well together, while twin flames are thought to be the same soul cut in two. But then they become two
different people.
Different souls. Like they are cut from the same soul, but they are whole
themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've heard that's a very evolved soul. You have to be quite an evolved soul to be able to have a twin flame and like have your soul be embodying two different physical experiences.
I also read that like it's not very common to be on the physical plane with your twin flame. Like your soul splits because it is beyond this. So one might be in a different dimension. So I think that, again, people love to throw around twin flames.
And like they could be a woman, you don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think that a lot of times they are very yin and yang. So it's like the mirror of you, right? They're really balancing you out, or they're reflecting the things that you need to learn because they're going through it at the same time. Where like a soulmate is someone who is learning and growing with you. Both are going to have their ups and downs and difficulties like any relationship. But twin flames, I think, have a more, I don't want to say toxic, but like difficult time.
It's more passionate and like it can be like a bigger crash and like, because they're each other. So they're mirroring each other's worst traits.
Yeah,
like
they're
imagine
like lessons that they need to learn or seen in each other. Where like a soulmate can be someone who like balances you. So that's a much more peaceful place to work from. I just think it's interesting, like when everyone's like, oh, my twin flame is my toxic ex. Or maybe they were just toxic and not meant for you. And like they needed to do some like ancestral trauma
so
therapy and stuff.
I want to talk a little bit about the toxic ex, because I think from those relationships where you're really emotionally vulnerable, you've been with someone a really long time, you create soul ties. Did you read about this?
Yeah. Well, and sometimes they could just be karmic relationships, karmic lessons. It doesn't have to be a twin flame, which I think karmic relationships can be with anybody in your life. Like I think me and my mom have a karmic relationship.
Most times it is parents that are experiencing karmic relationships because they're difficult relationships that you must learn from. Doesn't mean they have to stick around your whole lifetime.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with any romantic relationships as well, or friends. You see, people be friends for years and years, and like something happens or whatever, that could end up being a karmic lesson or a karmic contract that you signed, and that sucks, but that doesn't mean they're your twin flame.
I think one thing that's cool or interesting about soul ties is that, I don't know if it's cool, but have you ever had a little soul tie, like maybe it's an ex-friend, maybe it's an ex, and you start to think about them randomly and you're like, I wonder what that person is getting up to nowadays. And then beep boop bop, they text you and you're like, why is this person reaching out of nowhere? And I think that it's because like there was a little tug on that tie and they thought, maybe I should remind them why they shouldn't cut this cord, because I mean sometimes you gotta cut the cord. Sometimes my dudes
you do. Yeah, it's super interesting. All of this stuff is like basically about growth, because that is why we are on this plane, is to just grow and learn. So all of these relationships we're having are just adding to our pool of knowledge.
Yeah, you're in an experience and you're learning from literally all the people you're attracted to, all the kindred spirits you recognize, and those relationships that are challenging you the most, those karmic relationships, which are most times parents.
A lot of times parents. And the twin flames I put down could be tumultuous, in order to trigger that deep wounds that need healing. And we were talking about that ancestral trauma. Remember I told you about the grandma thing? So there was this study that came out that found out that like in your grandma, you were already predetermined to be born, if that makes sense. So when people talk about ancestral trauma, we think back to ancient times or like our heritage, but it really can go back just a couple of generations, because as much as the sperm of your father is you, it also is the egg of the womb that's in your mother and in your grandma, and then theirs and theirs and theirs. And so they did this test on rats where they traumatized some of them with cherry blossoms.
The smell,
just terrible. But anyway, then they found that their grandkids had never been exposed to a cherry blossom ever in a traumatic way, but exposed them to the smell of it, and they ran from it anxiously. So that trauma was built in from generations, and sometimes it's your job to break that trauma if it's not coming from a healthy survival standpoint. You know what I mean? Which is
toughy. It's
super hard.
Yeah, man, it's hard to heal the ancestral lineage. Am I right?
And it's hard to deal with karmic lessons. I mean, sometimes you just want to walk away, and it's like, is that the best option?
Sometimes it is. I mean, as a person who's estranged from their parents, shout out to the rest of you, because I can't be the only one. That's a karmic lesson that needed to end, and maybe it will reignite its little head somewhere down along the line, but it's okay to let them go. It's okay for them to end. I just want that to be known as well.
Yeah. It doesn't...
You don't need to keep punishing yourself for like learning the lesson or staying in the cycle. You can leave.
Yes. One lesson is sometimes enough. It is like, that is fine. I feel like we are put like this pressure on society that like you have to have like a perfect family, perfect relationship, like these friends, and like, you know, it just, it's not like that. It's not black and white like that.
No, and so coming back to just me asking myself, like, do I believe in soulmates? Because there are 7 billion people on this earth. Like, what am I supposed to do? Believe that, okay, none of them are going to give me, like, love that I deserve and want, like, can connect with? And I resonated with this, like, article that was talking about, like, no, dude, you have multiple soulmates. Yeah. And, like, things can keep rolling. It's really just, like...
It's not like you have to find that one out of the fucking sea. And that's it. And if you don't find them, you missed your opportunity in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, that's a terrible analogy. And I do think a lot of times, I wish I remember, like, this saying of it, but it was, like, kind of like kindred souls or whatever, like ships passing through the night. Like, I always think about one of my ex-boyfriends. We had a great relationship. Everyone was like, oh, they will be together forever, and I thought that too. And then we ended college and I moved and he wasn't ready to come with me, and I wasn't going to force that upon him, right? But I don't think that was like some huge karmic lesson. I think that was more like, hey, we were soulmates and it was not the right timing or space or realm or whatever, and we had to let go. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I still have huge like love for that person, but I'm not in love with them anymore.
Right.
But we'll always be connected. That soul tie you're talking about. I don't need to snip that because, you know, it's not bringing me any negativity.
Toxic. Yeah, it's not hurting.
Right? And I'm in a beautiful, happy, loving relationship now, while I still had, I believe, another soulmate
walking this earth.
Yeah, walking this earth 10 years ago. So it's a very interesting
concept, and like the way time is fluid and changing, and like decisions you're making are constantly changing. Mm-hmm. But the feeling that is described when you meet a soulmate, I fucking felt, dude, and I didn't mean to. It just happens. And I'm saying also that like it's so hard. You can't look for it. You have to be living for yourself, and like then it tracks to you. But like,
totally.
Dude, yeah, I hugged Luis and I felt like safe, comfort, home, and he was a stranger, and I was like, what does a stranger feel like?
I saw Max across the bar and I felt like a pool. Yeah. Like I was like, I should go talk to that person. Mm-hmm. And I don't like talking to men. Period.
No man will I go up to. There's just a lot about this subject, so you can go on and on and on. Yeah. But twin flames actually really fascinated me because I didn't know that much about them.
Yeah, I think that, I feel like twin flame, maybe it's like an LA thing where it's like, you're my twin flame, babe.
Well, MGK said it to Megan Fox, so it's very trendy. It's hot right now. Twin flame.
I think that something that I resonate with is soulmates are naturally compatible, and twin flames might have a strong attraction to each other because you are two pieces of the same soul, but it doesn't mean you're compatible. Like, some of my favorite things about my relationship with Max is how different he is than me. I feel like if I dated myself, I would kill myself.
I read that you do have to be like a pretty evolved person to like be in a romantic relationship with your twin flame, because dude, that's just like triggers out the ass. That's you emphasized times 2. Because on a what did I read? It's like on a deeper level, you have the same vibration. And like you and your soulmate, you have a similar vibration. So you're like, oh yeah, we get each other. We're on a wavelength. But you and your twin flame are the same vibration. So it's like,
yeah,
it can feel like intense and passionate. And I also read that you'll know it's your twin flame because you definitely want to fuck your twin flame. And I was like, whoa, okay.
Oh, interesting. Because that's like, you want to...
You're definitely attracted physically to your twin flame. And I was like, interesting.
Weird.
Okay.
I'd hope you'd be attracted to your soulmate too.
Your soulmate as well. But that could be like more friends. Like you can have soulmate friends that you're not like trying to jump their bones. But apparently twin flames are like...
super passionate. And
yeah,
I just kept reading like it's gonna be a hard
road. You have to be evolved. You have to be aware.
You have to be ready for that. It's gonna bring out your insecurities. It's gonna reflect all of your problems back at you, which is traumatizing.
Toughy. Yeah. I always say I couldn't be in a relationship with myself.
Oh, no. I literally just said I would kill myself. That is so dramatic. But I'm also like, I don't even want to be in my own brain sometimes.
Yeah.
Let alone have someone speak to me from my own brain. Like, oh.
Get out of here.
No, thank you.
No, X-nay.
I'd be looking for that balance, baby.
I need balance too. Yeah.
And maybe my fucking soul just isn't that evolved. I'm not mad about it. Like,
yeah, maybe we're just not a higher level soul.
But I also think it's really interesting, and I think I've talked about this a little bit before. My mom is pretty connected to herself spiritually, and I got an astrological reading with our friend Raven to her, and she's also kind of like a medium or whatever. And she told my mom, like, oh, yeah, you're, like, on your last or 1 or 2 lives before you evolve. And Mom was like, yeah, I know that. I can feel that I'm an old soul. And I can feel that, you know, me and my daughter are lessons learned. And I know I have dreams about our past lives together. And I know that, like, my father, her husband, obviously, my mom was always like, oh, I know that is my soulmate. And not in, like, some gushy
way,
like woo-woo way. She's like, oh no, yeah, I can feel like
I'm just in touch. They've
been together for, I don't know, since they were literally like 20 and they're in their 50s now. Like they had 2 kids at 23. Like it's a lot working against them, but it just works. And they're so different. I can't even explain to you. And the fact that she can just feel it on a deeper level. And I wonder if, like, the older you get, the more you resonate with your soul and connect back to, you know, the contracts you signed before you got here.
Like, older on this plane or in
your older, soul? I guess both.
Okay.
But I was thinking, like, older in life because she was talking about, like, lessons she knew she needed to learn from her chart. She was like, oh, yeah, I definitely felt that in my 30s.
Yeah, well, you know? That is one thing Raven said, that, like, it's good to reflect because you don't know all the lessons you're learning yet because we're relatively young.
Yeah,
in the scheme of things. Yeah.
Kindred spirits are simply people who really understand you. And I thought that was interesting because we put so much emphasis on, like, just these deep connections because we want to feel loved and understood. But I like the thought of kindred spirits is like, maybe you're going through something and someone's going through something similar and you just get each other. And that's so nice to be supported in that moment. Like, you both started a new job together or you both have newborn kids. Like, there's no...
You find them all along life. You collect them. You pick them up.
Yeah, and it doesn't always have to be like, oh my God, we have this thing in common. Like, I have to force you to be my friend because, like, maybe we're soulmates and, like, connected. It's like, no, like, you can also enjoy the finer little connections you have with people day to day and overall in your life. I feel like I don't want people to feel like every friend has to be
the friend,
the deep soul connection of like foreverness. It's like, or you can just like vibe.
You have different like areas that are like people get you there, people get you there.
Yeah.
Like you always have friends that like just understand you better about certain things. And it's okay if that's not coming from one person all the time. That's honestly kind of a little draining and unhealthy probably.
If you're like putting that sort of pressure on someone and being like, well, you're my soulmate or my twin flame or whatever, like you have to help me or do this or that or whatever. It's just, it's going to be too much for you and them. It's not healthy.
Balance it out, baby.
Yeah. You can have all types of relationships in your life.
You know, my favorite thought, though, is just, like, soul groups all, like, coming back together in the afterlife. Just, like, chilling, like, what up, bro?
Yeah, I remember when we did our near-death experience, like, research, a lot of people said that they could feel, like, family members waiting for them on the other side with, like, open arms. So even though it's not you, like me, Brittany, and with this face and this body, it's still a comforting, knowing connection with somebody on the other side. And I love that.
Sometimes with newer souls, they do that. They send someone you know and you're familiar with to take you back to the soul group, and they might not be in that soul group.
Oh, really?
They
might, Voyager?
Yeah, just like help you get where you need to go.
Oh, I really like that. I like that. And you have to remember, again, at the base of all of this is this belief that we are all connected, right?
Yes.
In the universe. So just because you have a soul group doesn't mean fuck other people or like
you're not gonna see your mom or something.
Yeah, or like, you know, you had this terrible relationship with someone and like they should die and burn in hell. Like it's no, you're all still connected.
Yeah.
But you chose to have like a little pod moment.
you guys are on the same level. We're all learning together. You got your guides, your...
The comfort. Yeah. That's a nice thought.
I think it is too. It's sweet. It's sweet that we're all just like reflecting together.
We're all just vibing. We're all just little
orbs
vibes.
Orbs in the wind. I want to be clear that twin flames is like not going to be abusive techniques, like love bombing you at the beginning or like emotionally negging you or whatever. Like, just because that's someone being an asshole. That's not somebody like, that's not a passionate twin flame connection. That's like a dick.
Yeah, that's someone who sucks. Like, and you should get away from them. You shouldn't have to deal with any of that type of stuff ever.
And if you want to break your soul tie, baby, like meditate on it, maybe do a cord cutting ceremony, speak it into existence. Like, you don't need to stay emotionally tied to people you don't want to.
No, and I think it's interesting thinking about like your twin flame not necessarily being on this plane. Like, I feel like we can't all just walk around like, oh, there's another half of me out there, because it's probably not the case. It's very unlikely, right? But if you do sit there and meditate, you might be able to connect with that person, that piece of you on a different level. Kind of like your higher self, but maybe they're just vibing with like some alien life in the fifth dimension.
Maybe you can tap in.
Yeah. I haven't done that yet, but it's a fun thought.
We'll have to experiment with it when we do our meditation challenge.
I know. We need to do that soon.
Well, March is coming up, baby.
March meditation. I love a double M. I love it. What is that?
Alliteration.
I almost said
altercation.
Just thinking of any other words that would make it sound good. March meditation. You guys, should this be a challenge for all of us?
It's a challenge for us.
It's definitely a challenge for us. For
Ursher, baby.
Ursher, would you like to do the March Meditation Madness Challenge? Yeah, actually, I really like that idea. We are planning on going and taking a meditation class just for fun to like kind of
kick it off.
Yeah, push us into the zone, and then trying to really meditate every day, whether it be 2 minutes or a 20-minute session.
Be mindful, baby.
Yeah, I think...
Get present.
I think that'd be a fun thing for us to post about and push on people.
Yeah, let's push our beliefs all up on ya.
I love that.
Join.
I feel like
Join the
we
cult.
should put it on our Instagrams and all that, and obviously YouTube. And I wonder if there's a way we can make people like hold accountability for each other, like a check-in type thing.
Oh God, we're gonna have to start a Facebook page or some shit. We'll see.
We'll see about that. We'll talk about that later. But I feel pretty good with this Soulmates episode. Should we pull a card?
Yeah, let's do it.
My friend Bridget actually recently got me this. She bought herself two on accident and was just like, you know what? Oops. I feel like you need this one. And I thought that was really sweet.
And I love Danielle Noel art. I have her Moonchild deck.
Yes. So she made this Oracle deck that is pretty popular. I feel like it's popular. Really known. It's called the Starseed Oracle. It's super beautiful.
Look at those magical bitches.
Very interesting box. But I've played with them a few times. Let's see what we get. Okay. Boom.
Jump in. Okay, sorry to yell at myself. Jump in.
Jump in. It says, what is that word?
Andromedan energy. Andromeda is a star constellation.
Oh, Andromedan energy adventure. Say yes to change. This, I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, this card is so beautiful.
Describe it.
It's basically an eyeball overlaying a galaxy with a human body diving in, like as if the pupil was water. Super great. It makes me excited for the Oracle deck that our friends are working on.
Andromeda is a spiral galaxy, the closest galaxy to the Milky Way. It's believed that Andromedan starseeds are a group of beings who love their freedom, very adaptable, and have a strong willingness and ability to change and go with the flow, to find calm in the chaos, swim with the tides. This card's here to encourage you to do the same. Perhaps you have a significant goal or an opportunity ahead of you, and you are being guided to jump in.
I love that. You know what this reminds me of, actually, is that the 22222 portal is on Tuesday. And This is going up on Monday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a lot is happening. I feel like that is going to be a very big portal jump in energy.
Yeah, you
moment.
didn't come to Earth to be passive. You came to Earth to live. Take a good run and leap.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to just sit down and be like, what do I really want? And fucking go. Yeah.
Go off, bitches.
The race.
Go into the portal.
I love that. That's really pretty. I'm obsessed.
We're doing it on Tuesday.
I know. I got to do something on 2 at 2 p.m. Maybe a.m. as well. I don't know. Do you have any plans yet?
I don't have plans.
I have acting class, but before that I'll do something.
I'm going to go to Bridget's class.
Oh, you'll work on your physical body.
Yeah, there we go.
I love that.
I'm going to sweat. I'm going to cleanse.
I feel like I got to wake up and meditate that day and really not look at my phone. It's so hard for me not to just open my phone right away.
It's a pacifier. We're all addicted.
It's the emails, man. Every day I'm like, God, do I have an email that I need to answer?
You link all your accounts to one, and that's scary for you. You need boundaries and some only on your laptop.
Yeah, I know. I don't have boundaries. Anyway, love you guys. Happy soul connections. Always. That is the vibe.
And keep asking yourself, like, is this serving me? Am I happy to be here? Because if you're not happy to be there, baby, what you doing?
What you doing there?
That's the point of life.
Ain't no
enjoy it.
But a G thing.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
Love ya. Bye.